choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things.
Whoa! What the heck? What was that? What? Who did that? Was that? No. Minute Earth. That was 1,000. Dude, I forgot to turn that off. Holy crap, I'm really happy that I forgot. Whoa. That's awesome. All right. $1,000 more bucks Kerbal Food Program. You got to help them kids. They need their Kerbal snacks. They need the Kerbal snacks. Yep, Bree, that's cool, huh? Did you see that they updated the amount of better Twitch TV emotes you can have? Oh. Better Twitch TV emotes. That's what I just said. Anyway, Minute Earth, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. That's awesome. The note says, thank you for using Kerbal and your love of science to help so many children. The Minute Earth team salutes you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Don't worry about it. Saw an article where somebody already has 166,000 miles on a 22 Ford F450. Wow. Was the total fixed after the 5,200 snafu yesterday? It isn't. It isn't fixed. Minus 5,200 from that. That puts us at like almost $4,000. Dish. That's not bad considering we don't do. That's not bad considering we don't do any we don't do that. We don't do charity much around here. I'm really proud of you guys. You know, that's not really my thing, but you know, the one with private division and helping hungry kids, that made sense. It made sense. It made sense, and I'm really happy that we did it. Honestly, like, you know, if we could get some kids the food that they need to grow up to be big and strong, so their children grow up to be big and strong, and so on and so forth, thus adding to the great chain of life. I'm in. Now think about all the people that created them, technicians, engineers, so they can go home and feed their children now. All right. That's awesome. Minute Earth, thank you very much, guys. I do appreciate it. That's cool. What kind of Kerbal snacks are they getting? That's my next question. The minute people are like, what? What? Yes, sneaky. Anyway, we got some early hours Minecraft, guys. And then we have the Israel launch. We have the OneWeb launch. We're going to see GSLV, see if it can yeet those OneWeb satellites up into space. And then after that, well, I have some Hastarplan action for you. I guess I'll leave the Tiltify thing kind of open, I suppose. I mean, like, I don't think they're going to get mad if we raise more money. Yeah, exactly, Tessa. But don't worry, I have more fun shenanigans. I have more fun shenanigans for you guys. With Hastarplan today. Let's just say that, well, I'll give you a little hint. Just say that a certain somebody may have sent me a little bit of a care package. Cheers. Can't really put the... This doesn't really work. No, it wasn't Tori. No. This has to do with F1, because code is this weekend. My head is too big. There we go.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing.
Oh. Even 9K, let's go. Thanks, Sneaky. That hat is way too small for your head. Yeah, gotta kind of stretch it out. What do I know? What do I know about cowboy hats? I'm from Massachusetts, man. We don't do this. Hat on headphones? Does it fit the other way? I think that's the front. The front has the... I tell you what. That boy ain't right. I tell you what, boy. Howdy, partner. All right. That's for later. That's for later. Let's Minecraft. What is the other things? Rice playing Texas. Yeah, that's the other things. From my understanding, you don't force it on your head. You just rest it on your head. Yeah. I wish I got a gift from Tori Bruno. But, dude, I had to back him. Dude, man, they went after Tori Bruno yesterday on Twitter, and it pissed me off. I had to get in. I had to say something. He was trying to talk about reliability versus solids versus liquids, and then somehow that got transferred into engine out capability, and he's like, that's not what I'm talking about. And they're like, but liquid fuel engines. He's like, that's not what I'm talking about. And I had to go and help. I had to go in and I had to ask the question. You know what I'm saying? You'll never be cool enough to have a cowboy hard hat. No, Jonas. I can't do that. It's Twitter. Don't join the zoo. Yeah, no, you're right, Enco. But if Tori Bruno's jumping into the lion's den, I'm jumping in behind him. I'll go with him. I'll go with you, bro. I got you. Dink, you read that thread? Dude, I know the answer to that question. Everyone's trying to make it about this, and he's trying to go this way. So I tried to change the flow of the conversation. I think I did okay. I think I did all right. But it pissed me off. Like, I'm sitting there reading this thread, and I was reading the replies. I'm like, that's not what he's talking about, damn it. And I got so frustrated. I jumped into the lion's den behind Tori. I'm like, I'm doing it, dude. Let's go. Show your work. It wasn't too bad, but... So, there's this thread here, right, from yesterday. Right? Hey, Canadian, 25 months. Thanks, man. Quarter of a century or something like that. So, look, somebody asked, some SRBs can gimbal, but once they are lit, there's no putting them out. And Tori Bruno says, yes, I've noticed that people often focus on this. Taking some kind of safety-related comfort in the ability to shut down a liquid fuel engine. However, it's not really relevant. There isn't really any gone wrong scenario that shutting down your engine in flight helps much. If there is a problem, okay? Now, he's talking about the context of that statement is solids versus liquids. When you have a solid versus a liquid, being able to shut off a solid rocket booster isn't going to change a favorable outcome. Like, that's not going to change. That's not going to make the mission go correct somehow because you blew an engine out, right? Now, everybody construed that as, well, what about Falcon 9? What about Falcon 9 has engine out capability? And, like, yeah, it does, but it doesn't have a damn solid rocket on it, does it now? It's all about constructive engineering, right? What are you trying to do? If you have a solid rocket motor on your launch vehicle, right? If you have a solid on your launch vehicle and you intended to have a solid on your launch vehicle, having an engine fail is bad. It doesn't matter if it's liquid or not. That is not a good thing. That's because that's not a favorable outcome. That's not what you wanted. That's what he's trying to say. But everybody goes, if you have 2 or 4, sure. But if you have 30 plus rocket engines, you can get away with shutting down an engine and being successful. Such as if a combustion chamber starts to go. Better to shut it down and not be able to land back than loss of payload. And Tori Bruno goes, what scenario are you imagining where one would deliberately shut down engines because of a malfunction on the rocket and then go on to a successful mission? And then Tom Mueller answers the question, and Tom is right. Falcon 9 does have engine out, but still, at the end of the day, you don't plan for the engine to fail. That's what he's trying to say. You don't plan for the engine to freaking fail. Right? Simply having enough performance margin on a specific mission to lose some propulsion and still finish is not related to the discussion of the perceived SRM versus safety. See? And then everyone started dogpiling on the man. So I replied to this and I said, do you think the stigma of solid rockets being unsafe is because of the shuttle program? I tried to steer the conversation in a completely different direction. And yes. Because it's not about engine out capability. It's about solid versus liquid safety. Oh my gosh, did Twitter lose the point too? They lost the point too fast, and frankly, I got a little upset. I'm like, no. Oh, that's not what he's talking about. So, I steered the conversation in a different direction. At least I tried to. They just talk about what they want to talk about on there. So I say Twitter is a zoo. You don't jump into the exhibits, right? But if Tori Bruno's going to jump into the exhibits, well, dang it. I'm following him. Let's go. This hat is way too small for my head. It looked like a rodeo clown. Tori Bruno jumps in the lion's den. I'm going with you, bro. Going with you. Also, solid rocket boosters are safe. I don't give a frick what anybody says. I don't give a frick. Actually, it really comes down to constructive engineering. Have you proven it's safe with numbers? If you have, then it's going to be safe. Funny how that works. Yeah, Rocket Eyes, I'm with you. And don't get me wrong. I love SpaceX. I love them. I'm a huge SpaceX fanboy. But what people don't understand is that you could be a huge SpaceX fanboy and a huge ULA fanboy at the same time. I like all of it. I don't care what it, people don't understand how hard this stuff is, man. They don't understand how difficult it is. I don't even understand how difficult it is. I've gotten a taste with trying to build those stupid launch pads in Kerbal. I got a taste of it. It's so difficult. Oh my goodness. Hey, what up, First Gen? What's going on, man? How you doing? Dude. Oh. First Gen, you'll understand this. Oh, dude, I was going to get the cars, make sure the Coronet, I have the 69 Coronet. I have it outside. I don't have enough space to store it inside, but I have a big driveway, so storing it in front of my garage, right? And I saw mouses scurrying underneath it the other day when I was walking to the garage, and I went, oh no. So yesterday, I went and I popped the hood. Dude, I'm not making this up. I went and popped the hood, and I saw that mouses are starting to make a nest in the intake manifold, like on the intake manifold. And I popped the hood, I opened it up, I shook the hood around, I shook the car around. A freaking mouse pops his head out of the air cleaner, and he's like, what the heck is that? Oh, crap! And freaking goes back. I'm like, oh, hell no, you didn't! So, we have to nuke the Coronet from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Dude, seriously, he popped his head out of the little intake tube. In front of the air filter, not near the carb. He popped his head out and he's like, what the hell was that? Oh, I'm like, get out, damn it. When were you planning on eating these waffles in the toaster because they're cold? You can have those, Brimo. I forgot that they were there. I made them, then I remembered that we had stuff to do. They're chocolate chip waffles. No, Pete, I've had a very busy morning already. It's been a little crazy. When did you make them? When I made the popcorn. That's going to sound really bad. I made popcorn this morning for breakfast, but I also made waffles because I thought it would be enough because I didn't have time to make breakfast today because I've been in meetings all morning. No, Pete, I'm usually super good about this. I'm super good about it. I stay in the routine. I'm super, super good about this. Today was a curveball in my routine. Did you at least eat something? I had popcorn. I'm good. Meetings. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Primo, back me up. Wasn't I in a meeting? I was in a meeting for like 45 minutes before the stream. Yeah, Louisa, you're not wrong. All right, as long as they aren't a week old. No, they're like 30 minutes old. All right, let's jump in. So let's check out the community map. Let's play some Minecraft. So yeah, I had to back up Tori Bruno. I couldn't not back up Tori Bruno. Can't, you don't dogpile on my guy right there. That's not cool. All right, let's jump in. Oh yeah, we gotta finish that. We gotta finish that mother today. Let's do that. That is an ADHD trend. Getting thrown for a loop if something changes your routine. Yeah. Pete, yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But in my defense, if I told you what the meeting was, it was a cool enough meeting to be able to, it was a cool enough meeting to be able to screw up your routine sufficiently. Like, I'm usually pretty damn good about it, you know what I mean? Have you played One Block? No, I haven't. What's One Block, dude? Alright, we gotta finish my terracotta building here. Like, once again, oh, man, I wish I could tell you guys what's in the works, man. But I don't want to jinx nothing. I don't want to jinx nothing, okay? Even saying this, like, dude, I believe in that bad juju. Oh, Hellfish, I got something better than that. Don't worry. Check vid. Just rolled in.
Smurf states, my vehicle doesn't stay running.
Yep, literally that. Literally that, Tessa. But Tessa, the mouse peeked his head out. And, like, we had an awkward moment, like, just staring at each other. I'm like... And he was like, oh, crap. Does he see me? And I said, what the hell? And then he scurried off. So what you're saying is you canceled Vulcan and brought Delta 4 Heavy back? Oh, man, I wish I was that cool. You had an interview with Elon? Oh, man, I wish I was that cool. All right, so we were working on this building in Survival City building. Mouse traps with peanut butter. Oh, Tessa, no, yeah, believe me. I went on the Amazons, and I am making sure, I can't have mouses. We're not, no, I ain't doing that. No, we're not playing. Were you kidding? Yeah, we're not doing that. Mice love older cars. I know, dude. And it bummed me out seeing it in the Coronet yesterday. It just really bummed me out. So we're getting mouse traps, we're getting dryer lint sheets, mothballs. I'll get whatever I need to. Can't have mouses in that car, it's too straight. Dude, so 79, it's a B-body Chrysler. So B-body Chryslers from the 60s are known for rotting from the inside out because the seals fail on the windshields, right? So floorboards, trunk pan, rockers a little bit. Now, dude, so this one the Coronet has about a softball size hole in the trunk. But the frame rails are good. It has good frames. It has a good frame rail. All right? It has a good frame rail. The floorboards are good except for a couple of patches right up in the passenger and driver footwells. And from the front forward, the car is factory original. Except, that's not exactly true. Except for the quarter panel. The left front quarter panel got hit at some point and they replaced it. But this is a New England car. This car, I traced the VIN. This car has spent its entire, it was sold in New Hampshire and driven in New Hampshire until 1994. And then it sat. And I got it in 2013. Okay? For a New England car where they salt roads, this car is in remarkably good condition. Dude, the outside, no rot on the outside. There's nothing. There's no rot on any of the quarters. They are 100% metal. This is a car from the 60s. And dude, it's like the paint is toast, right? This car is in really good condition considering it's been in New England for like, what, 50 years? So, it bummed me out seeing a mouse in there, because what I want to do is when I finish my truck, when I finish the 59, I want to go to town on that thing. I want to go to town. I want to get it done right, you know? And it bummed me out seeing it. I can't have that, dude. Dude, it was built right. So this happened with the mouse.
Okay, see that? Was there mice in it? There is mice. Look what we got.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. That is exactly what the mouse did. He poked his head out and he's like, "What the hell?" Look.
Okay, see that?
Watch.
Was there mice in it?
He was just
There
like,
is mice.
he was
Look
just
what
like,
we
"Hey,
got.
what up?"
A free mouse.
He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "What the hell, man?" He's just chilling.
Oh. Can I pet you? No. You
Yep, and then he
tried.
bees just like that, dude. Geeson, exactly that. He just poked his head out. He's like, "Hey, what up?" I'm like, "Dude, you are not supposed to be in the intake, man." I can't believe that. That is uncanny. That is exactly what he did. His ears were back and everything, and he was just like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?"
Oh. Can I pet you? No. You
Yeah, and then he just gone. I'm like, how the... What the hell? Yeah, Jim, right? Unbelievable. So, yeah, we gotta fix that. But anyway, let's get working on this sucker. Alright, Pete, how are we gonna do this? So, we gotta... Oh, you guys finished the interior of the building. Or at least a good deal of it. Alright, we need, what were we doing for the floors? I thought of that clip when you said it. Keeson, that's exactly what happened. Only he popped... So, here, So on a 2-barrel, you have that tube. He poked his head out of that freaking tube right there. He just poked his head out, and I'm like, what the hell, dude? So that's what my engine bay looks like, only mine's a lot crappier than that one. Yeah. Don't worry, mine's a lot crappier than that. That's also the wrong color for the motor. Painting a Mopar engine Chevy Hugger orange is just weird. Synergy is working today, W, thus far. Tape it shut. Dude, there's mouse nest. They're taking apart the insulation on top of the motor, or on the bottom of the hood. They're getting at it. I gotta replace it. They got at it, and I'm frankly a little pissed off, but it's all right. It's all right. I'll fix it, and then we'll fix the car on stream. Yeah, that's like Hellfish. That's not even the right color. All right, we have stone half slabs, and then we have stone brick for the elevator shaft. I think one of the computers was running 2 instances of Synergy. It's possible, dude. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's working fine today. I knew restarting the computers would do it, but I'm not going to lie, W. I wanted the cloud of doing a whole 14-hour stream yesterday. I like flexing on fools like that because I'm weird. Not that it really matters, but yeah. Gives me a good, strong feeling inside when I know I can still belt out a 14-hour stream. It makes me feel good, okay? Alright? I don't give myself a lot of credit, okay? I don't like doing that. I don't like tooting my own horn, but that's my internal way of making myself feel good. Can't wait to see it, man. You gotta do some vehicle walkthrough some days. Yeah, dude. Oh, dude. So, 79, I got some stuff planned. I'm working on getting some solutions here to be able to make it so, like, switching from like Minecraft to working on the truck is seamless. I can do it about as quick I want to get it to a point where I could do it about as quick as switching to another game. Now, don't get me wrong, fellas. We're working on NDI stuff, and I have another computer in the bay that I grafted to my toolbox. I gotta find more stone brick, but It's in the shop bay that's grafted to the toolbox. I'll show you. I built this thing out of a couple of different monitor mounts, and I made a bracket to mount the computer. I posted that picture somewhere in my Discord here. Hang on, I'm just scrolling up to find it. I want to see you build a capital ship in Empyrean. I must have missed it. It wasn't that long ago. Here, hang on. I'm going to do the boomer thing here. There we go. I think I'm starting to inadvertently become a regular at my local Wendy's. They upgraded my fry from small to medium because they already had one made. Yeah, sometimes they'll do that, dude. Yeah, Sneaky, wait till you get on a first name basis with the restaurants that you go to, that you frequent for lunch. There you go. Check that out, dude. Hey, Chief, what's going on? Yeah, Errol. You see it, man? Oh my goodness. Dude, I'm so hyped. Like, I'm revitalized, man. It made me so happy. So 79, check this out, dude. Watching yesterday's VOD, so cool. Right on. So yeah, I have a bracket that I made, and I nutserted two rib nuts onto the side, nutserted, nice. And I made a bracket for a small computer that a viewer helped me make a long time ago, and I have a 3-monitor setup over the toolbox. Is that a TV? It is. The TV is temporary. I like having the TV there, but I don't like that the stand takes up so much space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a wall mount, and then I'm going to make a bracket that goes to the back of the toolbox so the TV is on a wall mount that's mounted to the back where the pegboard mounts are. He said nuts. So the idea, guys, is if I want to work on something, we can work on it right on this bench right here. Is that a Supra? No. Faster than the Supra. That's the shop setup, Pop. This is the shop setup right here. But yeah, there's my shuttle cutout. I have an 8-foot tall shuttle cutout because I can. And yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. This thing is actually pretty good to go. These monitors are from my old streaming setup before I switched to the curve monitors. We could do that, Chief. Those wall mounts are kind of expensive. I was thinking a fixed mount, but a Pivity Boy would be cool. Yep, IBM Model M. Yep. This is all the hardware that's left over from taking 3 or 4 monitor mount brackets and making this. You couldn't buy a bracket with a keyboard and a double mount, or at least I couldn't find one. Chat will probably find one now that I said that, but yeah. I had a Murata mount with a Mevo mount? I forget. I had a mount with a keyboard and 1 monitor bracket, and then I bought another one with 2, and it turns out that I made it so the 2-monitor holder goes onto the single monitor, the pole, right? And yeah, now I have a double monitor mount setup with 1 keyboard, and these are not touching the toolbox. They're on a desk mount that I drilled out, and I attached it to the pegboard mounts on the back of the toolbox. So yeah, dude, I got a nice little setup going on here in the garage. It's actually pretty cool. I've tested streaming on it a couple of times, but yeah, what I want to do, the encoding actually bogs that computer down because it's a little older at this point. So what I want to do is make it so my computer here is a server, And all that computer does is just broadcast an image, and then this computer, my encoding rig, encodes the damn thing. That's what I want to do. So that'll make it so if I go to work in the shop, we can switch it as easy as changing a category in Twitch. Yeah, there you go, Linfrod. Right? All right, so let's finish our building today. We need stone half slabs. I'm going to go make a run for some half slabs. I don't see any here. So, welcome to the city here. This is our community build project. This is a survival city build. Everything that you see here in this city was built in survival. We mined out everything. How did we do that? There is a giant mine underneath the city to the point where if this was real life, the city would probably collapse in a giant sinkhole. But you know, we don't mention that. It's Minecraft. It doesn't matter. But yeah, everything here all mined out, all of it. One of my VR chat friends that I wasn't expecting to be jealous is jealous of you for having that keyboard. Sneaky, tell them I found it in a dumpster. I found that Model M in a dumpster. Somebody was going to throw that away. Seriously, at Best Buy. Found it in a dumpster. Not the recycling bin, because you can't take stuff from that. But I found the damn thing in a dumpster. Where's the van down by the river? I don't know. Oh, I did. They were like, what? Yep. Headland Front. It's the same place I go to hang out. Where's the Apollo 5 rocket? The Saturn 5 rocket? In the shop? Alex, I didn't bring the Legos out into the shop. Truth be told, I have all of my spaceflight memorabilia set up in one of the bedrooms in my house. If you really wanted to know. Yeah. Hey, Evil Rays, thanks for the raid, man. So it's like a museum. So what do I have in there? I have all the spaceflight memorabilia that viewers have given me. I have all the blueprints in that room. Remember the blueprint streams? If you don't, oh man, I gotta show people that. I have the entire complete blueprint set for a Saturn V mobile launcher. It's not real blueprints. They're scaled to 11 by 17. So it's not, you wouldn't really use it for engineering, but it's a copy of the entire set of blueprints for a Saturn V mobile launcher. So if I want to go and see how the damn thing works, I can go reference my blueprints. They're gray prints. Something like that. Something like that. So I have everything that anybody's ever given me for the stream. Like notes, you know, thank you letters, stuff like that. Everything is in there, in that room. It's not finished yet. It's still kind of a junk room right now, but all of the stuff is set up. I have the Lego Saturn V in there. I have the shuttle, the Lego shuttle. I have the LEM, the Lego Lunar Lander. I have models of airplanes in there. Got a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna need to make a run over to the community storage here. How's Minecraft going? It's good, Evil Rays. What were you up to, dude? Thanks for the raid. Yeah, Thron, I'll show you guys that room when it's completely finished. You ever play One Block? No, I'm not 100% sure what that is, dude. I know I tried to ask you before. If you responded and I missed it, that's my fault. My fault. Where do you keep your shine box? I keep it at your mother's house. Alright. Crack that open, put that in there. Andesite bricks. Emerald, cut copper, exposed cut copper, scaffolding, pistons, concrete, and iron bars. Alright, I gotta take a trip. A long night of Fallout 76. Cool. Oh, is One Block that challenge, dude, where you have to survive on one block? Hey, all systems, what's going on? C418's a... Yeah, Sneaky, that guy's a legend. Did you know he made the music for the recent Steam release of Cookie Clicker? No, I didn't know that. That's pretty rad, though. Stone slabs. That's all we have. Oh, okay. I'm only going to take a couple of stacks here. This is the community storage. I don't like taking stuff from this place and not giving, you know, not replenishing what I took. I don't like doing that. If that's all we have in there, I'm not going to take all of it. Building your own world basically off one block mining. Cool. Yeah, touche. Alright. Alright, now for the roof, I need... gravel, but I have gravel out there. Deep slate, concrete kits. Alright. Alright, we should have enough to finish that building. Coffee. What's up, Envy? How you doing? Yeah, guys, seeing that KSP2 trailer and, you know, talking with the developers about it and stuff, man, that really... Dude. Oh, man. It hit me in a way that I didn't really see coming. Like, you know, I was like, yeah, KSP2, it's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be sweet, but you know what really did it? You know, when we started playing KSP, or not started playing KSP, yesterday when we were playing, you know, when we were looking at the trailer and playing it, I saw a lot of old faces, you know, a lot of older viewers, you know, kind of come out of the woodwork, and man, did that make me happy. Seeing like the original Kerbal folks, man, that was really cool. That really put a smile on my face. Like seeing all the people throughout the years. Yeah, no, it was awesome. All systems. It really made me happy. Is that your wharf that you made? This is my community project. Copet, yeah, this is my, yeah, dude, this is my community's Minecraft server. So this is the EJ community Minecraft server. Check it out. We didn't just make a wharf. We made an entire shipyard. And now, don't get me wrong, it's still under construction, you know, but yeah, once a week I come in here and I just build, and then, you know, the community can play at any time. But yeah, this was all built in survival, dude. No creative, no resource was given to us. Every single resource we mined out. Now, don't get me wrong, we didn't start from scratch. This was another community's Minecraft server that I kind of that other community folded. Like, I had a joint community server with another streamer, my buddy Taradra, who still streams. He's a good dude, good buddy of mine. And he didn't want to do it anymore, so we moved our server over here. Like we kind of took the save and put it on our own server, and we've been building it out since. Is the A10 still there? Yeah, of course it is. Yep. Yeah, playing cities in Minecraft, man. Yep. I never played Minecraft. I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, Cop, I'm not a Minecraft streamer, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. Heck, I don't even know how to do some of the recipes in this game. I just like building things. What's the ocean that has glass around it, the upper left of the ships? That's a farm. That is some kind of farming mechanism, guys. What is... See, like, I don't even know what farm that is. This is for if you want to make signs with logos on it. It's for sea lanterns. Thanks, Canadian. Like, see, they're much better players at Minecraft here. It's a guardian farm for sea lanterns. Yep. Thanks, dudes. Like, if you want to make signs, so there's this thing you can do if you have a map, right? And you know, you start with a blank page, and then whatever chunk you're in, right, it'll render that chunk. So if you make a map and then you draw like a logo on it, and then you draw a logo on this chunk, when you make the map, it'll make a logo like that. Or uh-oh, that's not a noise you want to hear. Sea lanterns, prismarine, and fish. Thank you. You can get fancy by doing different heights, which does slightly different pixel colors. Yeah, so people can make signs and stuff. But yeah, the glass thing is a sea lantern. I was about to say a sea urchin farm, but that's not what that is. Weird, I just built my first ship SV in Empyrean. It's super basic with limited fuel. Thank you, Pete. Can't wait for KSP2. Yeah, I'm with you. So right now, I just wanted to finish this building today. We only have a little bit of a finite window to play Minecraft today because of the rocket launch, so... Hey, Blacken. How are you? You could always come back to MC after the launch. Blue, I have some stuff planned with F1 Manager because Coda is this weekend. Trust me, it's cool. I think you'll dig it. I would actually like to see what your brain cooks up in Empyrean someday. Oh, alright. You got COVID? It's alright. It's okay, Flacken. You're young. You'll be okay. Just make sure you take care of yourself. That's all. I mean, next couple of days aren't going to be fun. If you're asymptomatic, it's not that big a deal. But then again, dude, I ain't a doctor, so I don't know. Don't listen to me. Everybody's different. Pretty surprised with Empyrean? Well, alright. Surprised to be sure, but a welcome one. I'm out of half slabs, dude. I'm gonna start building up the walls of this thing. Yeah. Hey, fellas, make sure we have torches and stuff up here. It's actually pretty fun despite the jank and the bugs. Someone wants to fly down to the surfer shack. Nice. I have a ton of stone down here that you could make half slabs with next to the canal. Noted. The world is 138 gigs. People have been busy. I think the initial save was 30 to 50. Yikes. That's unbelievable, dude. I'm gonna build up this wall because this wall is orange terracotta and the rest of it is regular terracotta. There we go. No windows. No, not on that wall, Jonas. Yeah. That was strange. Did we make the whole thing out of orange? You want me to build the Burj Dubai? Okay. I guess I just didn't notice. Or maybe I said to do that and I'm forgetting. It's probably that. Sweet. Let's get her done. House. You still sound sick? Oh, yeah, no, I've been sick this entire time, dude. I'm just hopped up on medications. No, Sudafed, cough syrup. I drank a lot of cough syrup this week. Dude, this whole week I've been terribly sick. Just putting on a brave face. I didn't want to miss this week, man. Don't worry, I'm making sure that I've been stopping the stream early because I want to make sure that I'm not gonna break. Yeah, and freaking yeah, I don't know, it's not COVID, whatever it is, but yeah, it's not been fun. But you know, the hype for Kerbal is really kind of fixing all that anyway. Oh. Just got you into KRPC and now KSP. Now it's KSP 2. Sorry. Don't worry, we have time. But I'll tell you what, fellas. You know what, man? I want to learn to do KRPC, and we should still do that. But, man, seeing those KSP2 trailers just made me want to kind of just play KSP. Like, I know that sounds kind of, it sounds like, well, yeah, obviously. Maybe you won't be using the KSP1 telemetry relay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should have. Seeing. So, okay. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how to explain this correctly. Like without it sounding strange. So, okay. Back in the day, all right? Back in the day, so like 2012, 2013, 2015, I just played Kerbal. That's what we did. I played Kerbal. More, not really run-of-the-mill gameplay. Like, we were still doing crazy stuff, right? Like, my motto back in the day was do the crazy stuff because I can, you know? Right? Because I know how to. And then, you know, the meta in Kerbal was always seeing who could do the craziest thing, right? Like with building ships and stuff. And then, and that's fine. That's okay, right? Like, then I realized, you know, no. Oh, thanks. And then I realized that you can use Kerbal to teach yourself real rocket science, right? And, you know, if this, you know, I'm not saying this was a mistake, right? But it's the right way to say this. I realized you could teach yourself you could use it as a teaching tool, right? And so I started playing the game differently. I started doing, you know, mission modes and, you know, showing people how testing regimes work and why you'd want to test and booster qualification and all this stuff. And that eventually led its way into launch pads and stuff. And now, don't get me wrong, I get it. Some people hate launch pads. Some people like them. I understand. I get it. But I needed to do that to make me understand exactly what the heck was that noise? Squishy. Right? I needed to do that to make me understand what... Oh. Get out of here. I needed to do that to make me... to help me understand, like... space programs. Like, I used Kerbal. I used what I see in the space program and what we see in, you know, tried to apply that into KSP. And that ended up making, you know, it helped me learn. It helped me learn. It gave me insight into the testing regimes for KSP that, frankly, you just wouldn't get anywhere else, right? So, I kind of stopped playing Kerbal and I started using it to teach. And I started, I used the problem solving that I'm pretty good at to I started using the problem solving to, try to illustrate real life problems that companies face, like that real rocket companies face. Like getting the launch pad to work is a big deal. That's really hard. It's difficult to do in Kerbal, and I made the rules in such a way that would make it to illustrate, like, it's difficult in real life too to make the launch pad. It's not just the vehicle. The launch pad is as complicated, right? So I'm not saying that I've gotten to the point where I'm like an expert in my field or anything, but seeing all that KSP2 stuff, like this is the short version. If you've been kind of zoning out, the short version is that I kind of want to go back to just playing Kerbal and then take all the skills that we've applied, like all the stuff that we've learned, right? And then just going back to playing KSP this time around with all the extra insight that I have. Now I know like what a good booster looks like, And don't get me wrong, I don't want to stop coding or anything. Like I want to keep learning Python. The cool city that I'm building. Hey, thank you. Yeah. Building out this terracotta building in the city's like kind of river district. I kind of just want to play KSP. Like just go back to playing KSP. I think that'd be a really fun send off. If that makes any sense. Oh, no, that's not right. Yeah, maybe Flykin. Yeah, I kind of want to... Yeah, I just want to go back to playing. I want to... So, like, the other thing is that, look, I wasn't the fastest one. I wasn't the first one to get to the moon in Kerbal. I wasn't the first one to get to Elo. I wasn't the first one to get to Jewel. I wasn't the first one to get anywhere, right? It took me a while. I remember doing Kerbal speedruns with other streamers to see who could get to the moon first and losing miserably, like every time. Because I would always focus on making sure that the vehicle is exactly what I want, which is what real rocket science is about. But that doesn't get you there very fast, right? So... I saw that other people were getting to celestial bodies before me. Like, and other streamers were like, yeah, look, in my playthrough, I got to Eve or whatever. And that's fine. That's all cool. But, I kind of didn't want to go to all these other planets because I saw what happened. And keep in mind, this was like in 2013, 2014. I saw what happened. All these other streamers made it to every planet, and then they burned themselves out on KSP. So at the time, I was really looking for ways to try and make KSP more sustainable. Like, I'm in this for the long haul. I want to learn everything about space, but I realize that that's going to take time. So I got to find ways to make KSP something that I can stream every day. People are going to get bored if you just... And I kind of experienced this myself. People are going to get bored if you just go launch the shuttle every day. I remember I launched the shuttle every day and we'd do a new mission. We'd build space stations and stuff. And people were like, I'm sick of you launching the shuttle. Please stop launching it. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I switched to working on Condor and all this other stuff, right? And that proved to be a good idea. But we had to find other ways to not burn out on KSP because I was worried about that because I saw it happen with a bunch of other streamers and people stopped watching their streams. And then they just kind of, a lot of the OG streamers were just like, all right, I'm done with this. And then they moved on to the next game. I didn't want to move on to the next game, so I kind of never really went to the outer planets and stuff. And I did that. That was entirely on purpose. It was a calculated decision. I never did it because I was afraid I was going to burn out on KSP. Well, and then, I found other ways to make it work, right? Building pads, engineering vehicles, teaching about spacecraft design and whatnot. I found a pretty dang sustainable system that was working for me. So I I just kind of kept doing it, and that's why you never really see me go beyond the moon. That's really how that kind of happened. Because I was worried that people would get bored of the stream, and don't get me wrong, we're well past that point. I understand that now. We are well past that point. If you guys didn't want to watch, you guys wouldn't be here. You know, like I fully understand. I wouldn't have been able to have done this for 10 years, right? How about Coding Wednesday? I don't know, maybe. Yeah, QB. So I think now that KSP2 is coming out, you know, and the fact that I've been doing this for so long and you guys are still around, I don't know why, but I thank you guys every day, like, for watching. It does mean a lot. I think it's time to play KSP. I kind of really am feeling just going back to mission mode rules circa 2014, not building launch pads, but really focusing on the spaceflight infrastructure. One of my original goals back in the day was to prove that the space shuttle could be used correctly. I think your boy wants to do that. Wait, we can leave after all these years. So seeing those KSP trailers had kind of a, you know, and kind of making me think about the ride that we've been on this whole time. Kind of really put some stuff into perspective, you know, like. And it had a kind of an effect that I wasn't really anticipating. I just want to play Kerbal. I want to go explore the planets. I don't have to worry about getting burned out on the game, because Kerbal 2 is going to come out. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to do KSP 1 right, and we need to go hardcore. Like, just basically like the career mode save. You know, I think that's what is, the time is right to do it. You know, we need to give Kerbal the send off. So I would really like to go back to how I did mission mode, you know, where it's just really focused on the vehicles and flying into space. Basically more, I'm not going to say more run of the mill Kerbal gameplay because it's me, but like I want to take all the stuff, all the skills that I've learned, all the techniques that we've honed, that mission mode honed in all those years, and use it to play like regular KSP and build stuff like Nugget, like the Nugget. The Nugget with KRPC is a good example. Like, look at how quickly I belted that vehicle out. That vehicle doesn't drift, it doesn't break. The Nugget can survive impacts. Like, we just belted out a really, really awesome little test vehicle really, really fast. Like, I can build quick. I can make stuff happen fast. It's not a problem. Promise me you won't cheese it with Kraken drives. Oh. Yeah, Platinum. It would be fun to go back to doing that, huh? Yeah, Galactic. Yeah, absolutely. Grissom's is what we used to get to doing it back in the day. The Grissom class Corvettes. We used Navy hull displacement. It's a Corvette. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know. What I kind of want to do is not go too crazy sci-fi with this. I want to build landers and stuff. Like, it's kind of the idea that I had with doing career mode. But, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, kind of just, yeah. I want to back to doing stuff like that. How you been? Def, you got to meet General Raymond in Space Force last week. Dude. Wow. All right. That guy is pretty cool. Yeah, I agree with you. Wow. General Raymond, that's the guy that runs the Space Force. That's awesome, Dev. On the other hand, boldly go where you've never gone before. Build the Enterprise with Kraken drives in the nacelles. An idea that I've been toying with, dude, is doing like hybrid Kraken drive. I mean, Drummer, I know you said don't do that. An idea that I've been toying with is doing hybrid Kraken tech stuff. I really need those half slabs, dude. It's a pain in the butt trying to fly up there every time. You're getting slabs? All right, cool. Yeah. I don't know. It's just something that I've been kind of toying with. And maybe right now is like not really the right time to talk about it, but yeah, that's kind of something that I've been kind of thinking about, you know. I think it's time to bring KSP full circle and just, you know, we've been down awesome rabbit holes, we've done a lot of good stuff, and we need to send it off right. We need to send it off right. You know, Predominant, we needed to do the mission mode rules, and I know you helped me come up with those, and I do appreciate it. And I love playing mission mode. I love playing the game that way. But I think we need to do this. We need to deploy this content. It needs to be done this way. We got to send off KSP 1 correctly before KSP 2 comes out. And then when KSP 2, you know, we'll start by just playing the game, and then we can go back to doing crazy stuff depending on how the game Damn it! You know, I really want to just get back to doing space stuff, because that's what I love. You know what I mean? And, you know, for a while there, like, after the SSTO and stuff, like, that fiasco, that really just, really left a sore spot, man. Getting that thing blowing up on the pad really pissed me off. It made me not want to play Kerbal for a little while. You know, like, I think, you know, we need to play Kerbal the way we started. We need to go back to the old school for now. And I think, I mean, fellas, if I was gonna do this, would you want me to do it based around the shuttle? How about like career mode or regular Kerbal kind of thing with using like Ares 1, the shuttle, and actually, dude, even just Ares 1, Ares 5. And maybe the shuttle for dedicated Leo ops. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Predominant, I've always said, dude, that the best options, if I could take 3 launch vehicles from the past, or, you know, 3 launch vehicles just throughout any time in NASA's history, if I could take 3, it would probably be Ares 1, Ares 5, and the space shuttle. Those are the ones that I would really, really want. The reason why is because, you know, with Ares 1, Ares 5, you get the best of Apollo, right? And with the shuttle, you get the best of the shuttle program. And if Ares 1, Ares 5 are shuttle derived, right? Then it would make sense to run a space program with those 3 vehicles working in tandem, because they're all using similar parts. That's what I want to do. Yuck, you missed the shuttle missions? Yeah. Let's use all the stuff that we've learned. Let's use all the stuff that we've learned about building launch pads and use that to make better space infrastructure. What are the real differences between Ares 5 and SLS? I'll answer that in a second. I need to read what Kyron said. On my end, with cancer and all, I started playing case playthrough where I leave flags with messages to my kids everywhere. So, everywhere I go. So if the worst happens, they'll play along with me in the save game. Dark, I know, but it gives me something to look. Oh, that's cool, man. Kyron, when you're done with that, when you're done putting all the flags down and everything, send me a backup of the save just in case. It would kill me if you lost that. Going to bed. See you later for racing. All right, man. Thanks, mate. Do we have a stone cutter here? I don't want the dirt. Dirt. Okay. You last. All right. Sure, man. Hopefully we'll never need it. Just we want redundant backups just in case. What was your ship with the gull-wing doors? The name escapes me. Scoby. I think a good go to having KSP would be to build the infrastructure needed to make getting around the solar system very easily. Like you could launch from. Yeah, that was the reason why I wanted to learn launch pads in the first place, Lunprod. But the real reason was I wanted to learn. I really wanted to try and see how far you could go with KSP and how much you could learn. But I thought that at the time I didn't think people would buy it. I don't think people would have gotten on board with that for whatever reason. Saying it out loud now, yeah, people definitely would have gotten on board with that, but yeah, okay. What are your opinions on Hermeus, the startup company for hypersonic flight? Hermeus, I'm not 100% familiar off the top of my head. So, Ares 5 and SLS. Yeah. Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 moment. This is going to be a long conversation. You should have gotten a snack. Okay. Ares 5. So, long story short, what's the difference? Scope. What the thing's trying to do. That's the big one. If that makes any sense. And Galactic, thank you for the smooth stone. So, okay, give me a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the materials that I need for the building. And then when I go up there and start building, I'll start explaining it, Jeff. Where's the glass? Glass? Who gives a frick about glass? Who the frick is this? There we go. Yeah, you need panes. You'll pull through, Kyron. You'll pull through. No doubt in my mind. No, Supercraft. No, none of that. Don't worry about it. So, all right. What else do I need? Let me finish this. We have all the glass. I have all this thing. I got white terracotta just in case, and then we got to make the roof. The roof I want made. We want gravel up on the roof. So, gravel, I gotta go across the street, or across the river real quick. Is tinted glass okay? Pete, I think we're using tinted glass. There's some down there's a bunch of glass blocks down at the supply area. There's the gravel. And then we need stone here, so... I'm gonna need some stone because I want to make the ceiling. And then we want gravel on the ceiling. There we go. And then I also need torches. That's the last thing we need. Just put that in there. I need end rods, and I have no idea where I put them. Because we got to light the interior of the building. Animal finally made time to get into the Tesla AI Day video. Only an hour into the 3-hour video. You're gonna have your mind blown, Animal. All right, so Def, Ares 1, Ares 5 versus SLS. So I swear I'm not gonna turn this into a rant about $30 billion. I'm just gonna tell you the story. Okay, so here's what happened. Ares 1 and Ares 5 were vehicles that were shuttle-derived launch vehicles. They were built basically with hardware that was off the shelf at the time. So you'd see, Ares 1 and Ares 5 have, solid rocket boosters, and then they have spray-on foam insulation, like the orange tank. They basically take all the great parts about the shuttle and then make a beyond low Earth orbit exploration architecture that works with shuttle-derived stuff. The idea is that you don't need to do what they did during the Apollo program, where they ended up laying off a ton of engineers because the shuttle is nothing like the Saturn V. They only were able to use a small amount of components left over from the Apollo program, and that was a bad idea, right? So the idea is you keep your technical expertise. You retain your technical expertise, right? Because they were worried about basically a brain drain from NASA. And a brain drain from NASA is no good. You don't want to fire all your technicians and your engineers. The people that actually put the rocket together. And congressmen don't want that because that's bad for them representing their constituents, which does make sense, right? So the idea was to build vehicles that were based off of shuttle-derived, what's called SDLV, shuttle-derived launch vehicles, okay? So they came up with Ares 1. Ares 1 is a 5-segment solid rocket booster. And I know you asked SLS versus Ares 5. I'm getting to it. You have to learn, you have to understand context because rocket science is difficult, turns out. So I got back up to 70 where I'm at, 50 or lower the past week. Yeah, it's a nice day here too. So Ares 1 is a 5-segment solid rocket booster for the first stage. It's personally one of my all-time favorite launch vehicles that ended up never flying, which is kind of a shame. It's right up there in coolness with Venture Star, in my opinion. But so it's a 5-segment booster, and that's important to understand. 5-seg boosters. SLS has the same booster in it, believe it or not. 5-segment boosters. 5-segment solids, which is different than the shuttle program. The shuttle program had 4-segment solid rocket boosters. They had talked about launching a shuttle with 5-segment boosters in the past, and it would have increased the shuttle's throw weight, but or throw capacity, like how much it can move into low Earth orbit, but they never did it. So Ares 1 has that 5-segment rocket motor in it, and then it has a second stage that's more kind of analogous to a Delta IV. A Delta IV core stage. It's a 5-meter Hydrolox upper stage with a J2X, which J2X is a Saturn V derived engine. I know I said they were using X shuttle stuff, but this is they kind of decided to take the J2 and revive that design and make a modern variant of it, because nothing from the shuttle program could really be translated into an upper stage engine for an expendable vehicle, because the shuttle is basically a reusable second stage, right? Or it's a partially reusable second stage, I should say. Okay. We're up on the top floor. So, on the top floor here, guys, what... Hang on one second. Hang on a second, man. What I want to do here, Geeson, is this. Use stone. Use regular stone for the top floor. For the ceiling, because I want to put gravel... actually, you know what? We could... You know what, dude? We could get away with using the half slabs. That's fine. Half slabs on the upper. That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, we could do this. That'll actually end up looking better because the ceiling won't look low on the top floor. So, what's up, G? How you doing, man? So, you have a 5-segment solid rocket booster def in the first stage on Ares 1. And then you have a Hydrolock second stage that's kind of derived from Delta 4. It's like basically a 5 meter second stage, and then you have your Orion capsule on top of it. Now the Orion capsule is a big one. That's a big thing to learn and understand. To understand the differences between SLS and Ares 5. So you have the Orion capsule on top of Ares 1. So Ares 1 was supposed to be crew rated, which is the other reason why they switched to a J2, why they wanted the J2X in the upper stage, because you can't have a shuttle engine as a second stage. That doesn't work that way. The shuttle engine has a GSE-based starting system. So basically the starter motor is not on the shuttle engines. Why? Well, the space shuttle's not designed to restart those engines. Once you drain the external tank, the engines shut down and they purge the propellants out. They dry the engines in space by shooting helium through the engine. Right? So they were basically designed from the start to be one and done. You only need to light them up once, because if you had to relight your RS-25, the shuttle's probably doing something that it shouldn't have been doing, and that wasn't the idea. Remember, shuttle was designed to work like an airplane, right? Heck, even airplanes are kind of made this way. The engines, when you're flying on an airliner, right, like on a 747, the amount of thrust that the engines are producing at takeoff are nowhere near the amount of thrust that you encounter anywhere else during the ascent. To be 100% honest with you, like you're never going to encounter a 747 landing at maximum thrust, or any airliner for that matter. Why? Because the plane is significantly lighter than it was at takeoff than it is at landing, right? So the idea was that it's one and done. So you can't air start an RS-25. That doesn't work that way. So they needed another option. The other option was revitalizing the J2 from the Saturn program, which is a good idea. They should have done that. Now the J2X, remember the J2X, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. And remember that Ares 1 was supposed to be crew rated from the start. Supposed to be human rated, okay? That's right, G. Yeah, exactly. So now, what you got to understand from there is that Ares 1 was designed from the start to work with Ares 5, okay? Ares 1 being crew rated is the reason why. Ares 5 was supposed to be an uncrewed launch vehicle that's designed to move heavy payloads. Basically, beefier than the Saturn V. That's why everybody coined the Constellation program as Apollo on steroids, because Ares 5 was supposed to be about as high of energy transfer vehicle as you could get. The only thing, even to this day, that would be, if Ares 5 had existed, the only thing that would have been more powerful than an Ares 5 is Starship. And, I mean, that's because Starship is just kind of, frankly, insane. In a good way. I'm not talking bad about it. I love Starship. Starship is good in its own regard. If SpaceX can do what they want to do with it. So, okay, the elevator shaft here. Hang on one moment. So, Ares 5 uses those 5-segment boosters that I was talking about. It uses 5-segment SRBs. And Ares 5 also uses the J2X in its second stage. Ares 5 has two 5-segment SRBs on either side, and then it has a core stage that's kind of similar to SLS, but not exactly. The reason why is because Ares 5 was supposed to have 5 RS-68As in the first stage. RS-68s are Delta IV's first stage engine, and the RS-68 is an insanely good engine in its own regard, but the RS-68 is really designed to be expended. It's not designed to be reused. In fact, the RS-68 program was originally devised back in the day as a way to make an expendable, basically an expendable version of a space shuttle. Because Delta IV is basically derived from the space shuttle. Delta IV uses a lot of shuttle-derived components. So they were going to give back because Delta IV is technically SDLV, right? It's shuttle-derived. They use Delta IV. They were going to use Delta IV components in the design, which is fine. That's okay. That's perfectly all right. I think that's a great idea. So Ares 5 would have had Delta IV engines in the core stage, five RS-68s. Each one of those RS-68s produces 3,000 kilonewtons of thrust at 412 second specific impulse. Those are vacuum numbers, but that's really, really, really powerful. That's more powerful than a Raptor engine, and frankly more efficient. Yeah, we got to put a doorway or something here, fellas. You know what we should do? Here, hold on. Do something like this, and then put an extra step in there, and then put the doorway there, like that. And then up top, yeah, we're going to need to do that. And then we put the doorway to the roof right there. Could Ares 1 have carried a payload with Orion? No. No, it could not, RJ. It was specifically designed just to move Orion. But Ares 1's upper stage is Delta IV derived. It's very similar. You could have used Delta IV's payload fairings with it. You could have used Delta IV Heavy's payload fairings with it. You got to remember, Ares 1 can move as much as a Delta IV heavy into space. 25 ton payload capacity on Ares 1. It's a great launch vehicle. Really. It's an Atlas V on steroids, or a Delta on steroids. I don't know. Pick your pick, right? It's a really good, I still think Ares 1 is a good idea. A solid rocket booster first stage with, reusable segmented casings is insanely smart. Let me just look around. Yeah, this looks good, man. I still think that's a good idea. I wanted to add a couple of windows here because I thought that would be cool. Oh, they use glass blocks. So you have Ares 5 with its 2 5-segment boosters on either side, and then 5 RS-68s in the first stage. You're using a rocket engine you already know. And then the core stage is derived from the external tank, and then the upper stage is a new design. It's called the EDS, the Earth Departure Stage. And then the EDS has, well, you guessed it, it has a J2. It has a J2X in the upper stage. So they borrowed an idea from the Saturn program, from the Apollo program, where your third stage engine on your super heavy launch vehicle is quite similar to your second stage engine on your medium duty vehicle. The idea, though, is that human rating a super heavy launch vehicle is expensive. It's expensive and it takes time. Oh, that's slightly off. You know what? Maybe we'll, make it look different and have some of these be panes. Just because I thought that would be kind of cool. Kind of wanted all of these to be panes, but it's all right. So, human rating the super heavy vehicle, they figured, no, we don't need to do that. So, Constellation champions a style of, we'll make all these panes just because I got silk touch. We don't have to worry about breaking the glass. It champions a style of lunar exploration called Earth Orbit Rendezvous, or EOR. It's an idea that they toyed with during the Apollo program. EOR basically states that you launch your humans into space on a smaller launch vehicle, and then you use the big launch vehicle to move some bigger type of vehicle out to the moon. So in this case, Ares 5, which had a 180 tons to low Earth orbit payload capacity and a reusable, refirable second stage. Remember, those J2 engines can be restarted in space and they can be air started as well, right? So they wanted the ability to basically launch something gigantic into space with Ares 5 and then have Ares 1 go up to it, dock to it, like for instance, Ares 5 would put a gigantic freaking lander into space. So you could put a 50-ton, 60-ton lunar lander on Ares 5, right? The lander that they wanted to use was called Altair, right? And all you got to do, the lander would be big enough to be its own HAB module, right? Then you have to launch an Ares 1. Ares 1 docks to Ares 5 in low Earth orbit rendezvous, or Earth orbit rendezvous, EOR. And then the Orion can control Altair and the second stage, and it basically interfaces with the transfer vehicle, and then they can initiate the burn, and then you do an Apollo program. You fly out to the moon. You know, you have a much bigger lander, though, because you decided not to put people on your super heavy launch vehicle, right? And now you can go back to the moon, and you could land like 30, 40 tons down on the surface. It's actually a really smart idea. I think it's really, really, really smart. Yeah, 188 tons is what it was rated on paper, Supercraft. In reality, we're probably looking at about 200-ton payload capacity to LEO. I mean, this thing could shoot 60 tons TLI, which is absurd. That is absurd. That's way better than the Saturn V. That's like 130% of what a Saturn V could move to the moon. Saturn V can do 45 metric ton TLI. So 45,000 kilos, right? So, you know, you have your big, heavy, non-human rated launch vehicle that can move the lander. And then you have your Ares 1, because it's easier to human rate a smaller launch vehicle, right? You have Ares 1 that could put people into space, and you have Ares 5 that could put cargo into space. They both use the same parts. They both have J2s. They both have Delta IV derived components in the form of like spray-on foam insulation, 5 meter upper stage on Delta IV, RS-68s in the core stage of Ares 5, and a J2X for both of them for the upper stage. So you're using shuttle and Delta IV derived components. Ares 1 was supposed to pave the way to Ares 5 because you can develop out the components. So it's like how SpaceX went from Falcon 1 to Falcon 9, right? Falcon 1 was a single engine, a single Merlin engine, right, with a Kestrel engine in the upper stage. And then they moved to Falcon 9, which was 9 Merlin engines. They just scaled. I want to say they just scaled up, but that's not right. They went from one vehicle to the next. That's how you got to do this. You have to move incrementally with rockets like that. Using Ares 1 as a test mule would have given you development time on Orion. It would have given you development flight data, DFI, developmental flight instrumentation on 5-segment boosters, J2X performance, Orion data. And basically what they were going to do is use Orion to basically bridge the gap that the space shuttle left and use it to rotate crews off the space station. This would have gotten you also long-term data on Orion spending a long time in space, because it could stay tethered to the space station like what Dragon does now, right? I'm going to go downstairs. We'll take a look at the whole building. Right? So, that's what they wanted to do with Constellation. Now, why didn't this happen? Well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen because, oh yeah, that looks good. I want to make those windows go down a little way. Oh, that floor doesn't have any windows in it. I want to kind of make these windows go down here. And look, see how those windows go almost all the way down? I want to make these floors have windows on this side. I think that would look cool, the non-uniformity of it. So to understand why, like, what's the main differences, Def, you have to kind of understand this. Now, why? So how did that end up being SLS, and like what's the big differences? Well, what happened was, let me see if I want to say this. Long story short, after the recession, they looked at NASA and they said, we can't be spending crazy amounts of money on a big space program like this, and which is that's kind of bull crap. Like, spaceflight wasn't a big national priority at the time, so they got rid of it. They wanted to get rid of it. The executive branch of the government wanted to get rid of it, but Congress didn't. So what happened is Congress got wind that the executive branch basically wanted to pull the rug out on NASA's human spaceflight program and pawn basically everything that NASA does off to commercial providers in the name of, saving money, which is strange to me, because NASA is not that expensive, but it's all about perception, right? Like, okay, so Congress got wind of that they were going to pull the rug out on the entirety of NASA, and they said, yeah, like hell you are. So, like, I know it's really fashionable to bash, the government. I do it sometimes too, right? But Congress in this particular case figured out that NASA was going to get the rug pulled out from under them, and they said, yeah, frick you, you're going to do that. So they basically, what they started to do is basically a no-no in rocket science, but I understand why they needed to do it. What they started to do was basically, when they figured out that the winds were changing and they wanted to just pull the plug on the entire constellation program completely, they started trying to save as much of the constellation program as they possibly could by designing a vehicle by committee. They tried to save as much of it as they could. They said, look, they can't pull the rug out on NASA. We have to make sure that this doesn't happen, or else we're screwed. We're not going to be able to launch anything into space for a decade. We'll set a space program decades back, which, as much as people want to say, like, as even the biggest commercial advocates can't deny that happened, right? So they tried to save as much of it as they could. And the way to do that was to design it by committee. And the way to do that, they had to pitch it as lower cost for everybody to get on board. So they basically took Ares 1 and Ares 5 and combined them into one vehicle. They combined them into one vehicle and ended up making a vehicle that's not Ares 1, not Ares 5, and kind of okay at doing both of those. So they looked at an Ares 5 and they said, well, if they don't want to do Ares 1, we can't propose Ares 1, that's whatever. What we should do is take Ares 1 and Ares 5 in the name of cost, combine them together so we only need to make one vehicle. Right? So instead of RS-68s in the first stage on Ares 5, when they switched to SLS, they put, I think I wanted 4 windows down from there. Yeah, that's right. They put shuttle engines in place. The idea is that, shuttle engines already fly, so we could put them on this, and because we decided to human rate our super heavy launch vehicle, which one could argue is way more expensive, because, it is. Ask SpaceX how difficult that is. They're trying to do it right now. It's going to be a while before we see people fly on Starship. Even the most hardcore SpaceX fanboys can't deny that, right? So they decided to human rate Ares 5. And human rating Ares 5, they decided to put the Orion capsule on top of Ares 5. And in doing that, they changed everything. The 5-segment boosters stayed the same, which is good. That's nice. But now it's going to cost more money to test the heck out of them on the ground because you're not going to get any flight data because Ares 1 doesn't exist. So that ended up being more expensive. We paid less, but if it was going to cost like $5 billion to make like Ares 1 work, to make SLS work with the same 5-segment boosters, it was going to cost like $4 billion to do all the testing on the ground. So how much money did we really end up saving? Yeah, great. We saved a bunch of money. We've saved a bunch of money, but we don't we don't have another launch vehicle. Remember, Ares 1 was supposed to pave the way to Ares 5 and keep the costs down, because you're not human rating your super heavy launch vehicle, right? And your small launch vehicle paves the way. There's a pathway from your small launch vehicle to your big launch vehicle because they use similar components, just like Saturn 1 and Saturn 1B and Saturn 5. Same idea. We need more glass panes. So they decided to human rate it, right? They decided to human rate Ares 5 essentially, right? And when they did that, you ended up making a way more complicated vehicle. So they put RS-25s in the first stage, shuttle-derived motors, whatever, that's fine. All right, I get it. And they ended up trying to put the Orion on the top. They also saw that making because you axed Ares 1 and you axed its second stage, the J2X, you don't have a second stage for your super heavy launch vehicle. You need something to move Orion out to the moon. So they said, oh, let's just use something that's off the shelf. Let's use a Delta IV second stage instead, and then we'll figure out a bigger upper stage in the future. Unfortunately, the J2X and the Earth departure stage that's designed to do Earth orbit rendezvous with the Constellation program, that's something that Congress couldn't save. So that got thrown out the window. So they decided to use a Delta IV second stage and said, man, we'll design the upper stage for this vehicle for our exploration plans later. You know how good that goes with, if there's any software engineers out there, you know that kicking the can down the road like that is really not a good idea. Nope, that's gonna be way more expensive, and it's gonna take way longer to get made if you don't plan for it now. And they don't get me wrong, they did plan. SLS is still rated to carry that bigger upper stage, but it's gonna take a lot longer to get it done. So they took Ares 5, they put RS-25s in the first stage, same 5-segment boosters, and then gave it a wimpy Delta IV upper stage as an interim stage because it's like, okay, maybe we'll design this later. Fellas, actually fill that in. I didn't want all of that like that. I wanted it to be kind of asymmetrical. Alex, go up 5 floors, fill in 5 floors, and or the 4 floors, the floor that you're on and the 3 floors above it. I wanted it to be asymmetrical. I thought it looked cool. So, technical debt is bad in software, and software is intangible. It's terrifying in aerospace. Bingo. So, once again, it's important to understand context of why they did this, which is why I'm explaining all this. I don't think this is just a rant. It's more informative than anything. So, because they switched to the shuttle engines in the core stage, they basically had to redesign the entire thing, because shuttle engines are not RS-68s. 2 different motors. So they basically had to throw out Ares 5 and start over. And that ended up being way more expensive, which is the funny part. That's the hilarious part to me. They pitched canning Constellation as a cost saving measure, and it ended up it's going to end up canceling that program is going to end up costing us, we saved money at the time, and it's going to end up costing us billions more down the road, because NASA is building a gigantic house. They're building a building like this on a foundation made out of paper, because they compromised the design and designed it by committee because they tried to save it. Because NASA, like I said, NASA got wind of that they were going to try to pull the rug out from the entire space program and just pawn it all off to commercial and go from there. So they took the RS-25s out of the core stage, and they put a Delta IV second stage on top, which is, I get it. All right, sure. So, yeah, that's the fundamental differences. The long story short, Ares 5 and SLS are different because SLS is basically Ares 5 Lite, but you don't just. That's not how engineering works. You don't just say, oh, we'll just take this and we'll just change some parts about it to save some money now. That's going to end up costing you billions of dollars later. And that's the reason why SLS is so expensive. Because it's literally like, it's Ares 1 and Ares 5 combined into one vehicle with more extra Delta IV parts. All right. And there was no easy pathways to building super heavy launch vehicles because you didn't build a smaller vehicle first. NASA basically scratch built SLS because they had to, because they changed the propulsion. Every rocket design centers around propulsion, right? Think about the space shuttle. How much the space shuttle wouldn't have worked if you put an F1 engine behind the shuttle. It wouldn't have worked. If you put a Saturn V motor behind it, that wouldn't work. They needed to have those RS-25s there, and the whole shuttle is built around the RS-25. You always, in rocket science, you always build around your propulsion. Look at how much Elon emphasized Raptor for Starship. Am I right? Look at how much he emphasized it. He said SpaceX will literally go bankrupt if we don't figure out how to scale Raptor 2 production, because it's not sustainable in the long term. We need to find a better way to make rocket engines. He said that last year. Remember that? He's right. He knows. That's exactly right. That is 100% right when it comes to rocket science. You build around your propulsion. If your propulsion is not scalable, you're going to have a big problem. Like a big problem. And NASA's propulsion right now is not scalable. Oops. So, what's the difference? What's the difference between Ares 5 and SLS? Compromised design. designed by committee. But a lot of people just sit there and say, oh, you know, Congress shouldn't be allowed to design launch vehicles. That's so stupid because then you get a compromised design. Well, yeah, they got a compromised design because some bonehead thought it'd be a good idea to just not have any design. I'd rather have design by committee than nothing. I don't know about you guys. That's correct, Ian. So, there you go. That's the big differences. Our building's finished, though. That's kind of nice. I wanted to put glass headers here. There we go. Fellas, can we find some nice doors for the front here? Get out of here. You're not watching India launch a satellite? That's in 35 minutes, Dave. Yeah, fellas, I really, oh yeah, I like those doors. Those doors look good. Guys, we need to, oh yeah, some are panes and some aren't. I really would like this to be all panes. We need more panes. I don't know how to make them. One level has no glass. Yowza. Okay. I didn't, here, I'll show you what I wanted here. That's not exactly right, Alex. Sorry, I was talking. Have you seen the Blue Dog design? Got a huge update. Those screenshots are crisp. I haven't seen it, but I could check it out. Wanted these blanked in certain spots because I wanted to look slightly asymmetrical because I thought it would be cool. It's cool modern urban design because it has to be hip and quirky. Remember? And glass. Lots of glass. So, yeah, Def, does that make sense? Hopefully you were here for all that. Brown glass. Exclamation point map, lulz. Drummer's got you. So yeah, guys, hopefully, Def, hopefully that explains some things. Because on paper, like if I just explained to you the differences, you'd look at SLS and you'd look at Ares 5 and be like, why would you make that? Why would you make SLS? Ares 5 is arguably better. It's important to understand context there. And hopefully you all got something out of it. Alright, don't blank out any more of these. Nice. There are blocks all over the thing, only the front part is panels. Alright, stick to panels for the front then, and then leave the rest blocks. I wanted these to all be panels, but I also left last time when people were putting the windows in, so don't worry about it. We got $30 billion, right? Yeah. Hey, I tried not to make it a rant, dude. I tried not to make it a rant. I just find it funny. You know, like, okay, so... Guys, I can't be biased about this. I think if I'm trying to prove a point, being unbiased is the best way. I'm not going to sit there and say that NASA championing commercial was a bad idea. That was a really good idea. That was a really good thing to do. Championing commercial instead of big, gigantic government programs, right? But here's the thing. Constellation was established in 2003, okay? It was established, the Constellation program, it was established actually 2004. Constellation program rose from a study that was done by NASA called the Vision for Space Exploration, or VSE for short. Constellation was supposed to have 3 steps, 3 critical steps to basically demonstrate where we should be going over the next 30 years in terms of NASA in spaceflight, right? The vision for space exploration's first step was restoring capability of the space shuttle. That project, basically, you know, you're going to retire the space shuttle and you're going to replace it with something that's more sustainable for long-term space exploration. So, the idea there was to retire the space shuttle, retire the shuttle, and switch to the Orion and Ares 1 for the interim time, because using a space shuttle for deep space exploration makes no sense unless you achieve a high rate of flight, which, well, they didn't do that. You can't use the tinted glass to make it, huh? So that was the first step. The second step was restore super heavy launch capability, so you can basically go back to the moon and use that as a place to explore, as a place to learn how to go to Mars, right? Basically kind of what the Artemis program is now. That was the second step for Constellation. When that happens, NASA would retire the ISS. That was the plan. Shuttle would build the ISS. Ares 1 would go to the ISS through the 20-teens. And then when you got into the 2020s, NASA would relinquish low Earth orbit and move to commercial providers for low Earth orbit science research. Because NASA would focus on doing science out at the moon to prepare for Mars. When NASA would do that, Ares 1 would no longer be used as a space station rotation vehicle. This is the critical part, right here. When NASA, under the Constellation program, doing the second step, and when Ares 5 was ready to go, they would have started launching Ares 5, done that Earth orbit rendezvous, and sent people back to the moon. That made it so Orion would no longer be needed as a low Earth orbit access vehicle to go to the ISS. The reason why, and in order to complete that second step, NASA would have handed over low Earth orbit access to commercial providers to grow the low Earth orbit space economy. Does that sound familiar? Does it sound familiar? Sounds like Commercial Crew, doesn't it? Sounds like what SpaceX and Dragon and Boeing and Starliner are doing right now. Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? And NASA had planned, with the second step of the Constellation program, they planned to do that basically around 2020. When did DM2 launch again? And Ares 5 was supposed to be up and running. Ares 5 was supposed to be up and running basically 2018, 2019. When was SLS supposed to fly again? See what I mean? The point that I'm trying to illustrate here is that Commercial Crew and commercial orbital transport systems were presented at the time of Constellation being canceled as an alternative. As an alternative to a big government space program. In reality, all they did was just pick a part of the Constellation program that sounded cheaper and pitch that. And don't get me wrong, it kind of did end up being a little bit less expensive. Falcon 9 is way less expensive than a space shuttle. But a smart car is going to be less expensive than a heavy-duty pickup truck. Why? Because the pickup truck does more, obviously. That was always the plan, to hand it over to commercial. They just presented that as it's easily marketable as a thing to say, like, oh, we're going to take this big government program that costs so much money and we're going to replace it with a commercial program to save cash. It's very easy to pitch that, and that's exactly what they did. That's what they did to try and justify canceling Constellation, and it worked. Everybody saw through it. Nobody saw through it except for Congress, believe it or not. Congress actually saved NASA. Like, if you really want to go barking up their tree. Like, and don't get me wrong, I like bashing the government just as much as the next person, but facts are facts. Constellation was the framework building the foundation for economies. Commercial orbital transport systems, the thing that gave us Falcon 9, the program, was a product of the Constellation program. I don't give a frick what anybody says. India's launch stream is online. All right, good work, guys. We got the building done today. We'll finish the glass next week. Sorry, kind of talking about that, but good work, dudes. We'll finish up that glass, or if somebody wants to switch the front to panes, you can do it. But anyway.